They said goodbye years ago. The screen faded to black, and fans were left with broken hearts. But now, a single sentence spoken softly by Amber Marshall has reopened the door that many thought was forever closed. Could it really be true? Is Ty Borden coming back to Heartland in season 19? In a recent interview that quickly went viral among Heartland fans, Amber Marshall, who plays the beloved Amy Fleming, dropped a line that sent chills down the spine of longtime viewers. While discussing the emotional journey of her character, she paused, smiled, and said, "Some love stories don't end, even when they seem like they have." The interviewer didn't push for details, but that one sentence was enough. Within hours, social media platforms were buzzing. TikTok edits, Twitter theories, Reddit breakdowns, everyone asking the same question: was she hinting at Ty Borden's return? Graham Wardle, who played Ty for over a decade, had left the show at the beginning of season 14. His exit was explained in the most heartbreaking way possible. Ty died of a blood clot shortly after saving a horse and Amy from a poacher. It was a shocking, painful twist that changed the entire series. Since then, fans have learned to watch the show with a hole in their hearts, but Heartland has always been about healing, about second chances, about unexpected miracles. That's why Amber's words felt different. She wasn't just reflecting on old memories, she was hinting at something new, something that might just bring Ty Borden back into the picture. What makes this even more powerful is how she said it. Her voice was soft, almost like she didn't mean to reveal too much, but her eyes told a different story. It was like she knew something the fans weren't supposed to know just yet. And that's exactly why people are paying attention. Across fan pages and forums, longtime viewers have started piecing together clues. Some say it could be a flashback. Others believe it's a dream sequence. A few have even speculated about an alternate universe episode. But one thing is clear: Amber Marshall's words were not random. They were chosen, measured, planted like a seed, and now that seed is growing in the minds of every loyal fan, in the hopes of every heart still aching for Ty and Amy's love story to continue. Because when the lead actress, someone so closely tied to the spirit of the show, starts speaking in riddles about love stories that don't end, the question isn't if something is coming, it's when. This isn't just about wishful thinking. It's about a possible comeback that could change everything for season 19. A comeback that no one saw coming until now. To understand why Amber Marshall's hint about Ty Borden has shaken fans to the core, we need to go back to where it all changed. Season 14, Episode 1. That's when Ty Borden, played by Graham Wardle, died. Not in battle, not in a slow fade out, but suddenly, shockingly, from a blood clot just moments after saving Amy from a dangerous poacher. 1 second he was standing tall beside her, a husband and father, a symbol of hope. The next second, he collapsed. Just like that, Heartland lost one of its most loved characters. And the fans? They were crushed. For over 13 seasons, Ty had been more than just a character. He was a journey, a troubled teenager who arrived at the ranch with a rough past, only to be reshaped by love, hard work, and family. He wasn't perfect. He made mistakes, but he grew. Viewers watched him go from broken boy to devoted vet, from fiery rebel to gentle father. His love story with Amy wasn't just romantic, it was real, raw, and earned. That's why his death felt like a punch to the chest. When season 14 premiered, fans were excited. Trailers had been vague, rumors were floating, but no one expected that. It wasn't just the end of a character, it felt like the end of an era. But there was a reason behind it, one rooted in real life. Graham Wardle, the actor behind Ty, made the decision to leave the show. In a heartfelt podcast and social media posts, he shared that after more than a decade on Heartland, he felt it was time to move on. He needed to explore other projects, personal growth, and spiritual paths. He said goodbye not out of conflict but out of evolution. Fans were heartbroken but respectful. Most understood. Some were angry. Others hopeful he might return one day. The show tried to heal the wound. Season 14, 15, 16, and beyond focused on Amy's journey through grief, on how a mother continues raising her daughter with strength and resilience. But the absence of Ty never faded. His name was still spoken, his presence still felt, his loss still fresh. And now, after years of silence, Amber Marshall herself, Amy, has whispered words that might mean the past isn't done with them yet. That maybe, just maybe, goodbye wasn't forever. If Ty were to return in any form, flashback, dream, memory, it would hit deeper than any plot twist. Because the pain of his death wasn't just part of the story, it was personal. Season 19 now holds a weight it didn't have before. Because if the door has been opened, even just an inch, fans are ready to walk through it. It didn't come in a headline. There was no big announcement, just a quiet moment in an interview, simple, almost casual. But when Amber Marshall said, it hit like thunder. Sometimes love doesn't end. Not really. Not even when it's gone. That's what she said. She was talking about Amy's journey, the pain, the strength it took to move forward. But her tone shifted. She paused just for a breath, then added, "Not all stories are finished, even if they look like they are." Fans didn't miss it. Within hours, that clip exploded online, slowed down, zoomed in, reposted with emotional music. Thousands of fans clung to those words as if Amy had just opened a window into season 19's soul. Amber Marshall isn't just an actress on Heartland, she is the heart of the show. She's always been deeply connected to her character and her fans. She doesn't tease for the sake of hype. When she speaks in layers, there's usually a reason. Some say it was poetic closure, others believe it was a coded message. But for many, it felt like a whisper from behind the scenes, one that says something more is coming. And it's not the first time she's let something slip. In a fan livestream 2 months ago, she was asked if Ty Borden would ever appear again, even in a flashback. She smiled, shook her head gently, and said, "I wish I could say more. That's all. No denial, no hard no, just silence. The kind that holds secrets." Now, with these new words, the theory wheels are spinning faster than ever. What if Ty returns in Amy's dreams just for a scene, a message, a moment of peace? What if season 19 opens with a flashback we've never seen before? Or what if, for one magical second, we see what Amy imagines her life could have been? Some fans have pointed out a new episode title leaked on a production call sheet, "The One Who Stayed." It hasn't been confirmed, but the internet lit up instantly. Was it about Ty? Amber's recent comments aren't loud. They don't scream spoilers, but they echo with emotion like a message just beneath the surface. Her eyes said more than her mouth. Her pauses meant more than her words. And when an actress so protective of her character's journey chooses to speak in riddles, fans know not to take it lightly. After all, in a show built on trust, family, and unspoken connection, even the softest words can lead to the biggest surprises. Sometimes the biggest truths aren't spoken aloud, they're hidden in the quiet moments. The shadows of rehearsal photos, the gaps in cast interviews. And for those paying close attention, season 19 of Heartland is already whispering secrets. Let's begin with the photo that started it all. Just a few weeks ago, a behind-the-scenes shot surfaced on Instagram, shared and then quickly deleted by a junior production assistant. It showed the back of a man wearing a familiar brown leather jacket, standing near Heartland's iconic barn. His face wasn't visible, but the posture, the haircut, the stance, it screamed Ty Borden. Was it Graham Wardle or a stand-in? No one knows, but fans were quick to compare. And the resemblance? Uncanny. The photo was taken down within an hour, but not before screenshots were saved, analyzed, and turned into wild theories. Some say it's a flashback being filmed. Others believe it's part of a dream sequence. A few die-hard fans are convinced it's something bigger. And then there's the cast call leak. A known casting database listed a guest star, male, late 30s, familiar figure from the past for episode 3 of season 19. The listing disappeared after 24 hours. Coincidence? Or cover-up? But it doesn't stop there. Amber Marshall has been spotted more than once entering the set on days when she's not scheduled to shoot. And not just her crew members have confirmed that closed sets have increased this season. That only happens when a major surprise is being filmed. Something production wants to protect. Something big. And then There's Graham Wardle himself. Though he hasn't posted about Heartland in over a year, fans noticed something strange. He recently started following a few key crew members again on Instagram. Costume designers, set decorators, even the show's current director. Subtle? Yes. But for someone who stepped away from the show so completely, this is movement. His podcast, Time Has Come, which focuses on personal growth, had a recent episode titled Returning Isn't Always Going Back. It wasn't about acting directly, but the theme. It mirrored what Heartland has always been about: healing, change, and the power of looking back to move forward. And what about the script leak? An anonymous Reddit user claiming to be a background actor posted that they were present during the filming of a scene where Amy opens an old letter addressed to her from Ty. The post was taken down within minutes, but not before the community exploded. Of course, there's no way to confirm if it's true. The Heartland team is known for keeping surprises under wraps, but if these little clues are leading to something real, then season 19 might just contain the most powerful moment in the show's entire history. Not a full return, not a resurrection, but a message, a memory, a last goodbye, because sometimes all it takes is one scene to heal years of pain. And if the signs are to be believed, that scene may already be filmed hidden behind barn doors, waiting to take our breath away. For a man who left Heartland to seek peace beyond the spotlight, Graham Wardle has been unusually present in fans' minds, and not just because of nostalgia. It's because of the things he hasn't said, and the way his silence seems to hold more weight now than ever before. After Ty Bordon's shocking exit in season 14, Graham explained his departure in a respectful, almost spiritual tone. On his personal podcast Time Has Come, he shared how he felt pulled in a different direction, one that wasn't about acting or scripts, but growth, purpose, and healing. He left Heartland not in anger or fatigue, but in quiet evolution. Since then, fans have accepted it. Even if it hurt, they honored his journey. But recently, something's changed. In a podcast episode earlier this year titled Return Doesn't Always Mean Repeating, Graham spoke about the idea of coming full circle. He talked about unfinished stories, the power of revisiting old places with new eyes, and healing in places we once left behind. He never said the word Heartland. He never said Ty. But to longtime listeners, it felt like a nudge, a soft tap on the shoulder. Even more curious, his social media. He's never been flashy, but lately, fans have spotted subtle breadcrumbs. A quiet like on a post celebrating the Heartland anniversary. A new follow of Amber Marshall after nearly 2 years. A cryptic photo he shared of an open field. Caption only: some roads take you home. No explanation, no context. Just to the average viewer, it's nothing. But to Heartland's community who have studied every look, every post, every breath of Ty Borden, it's enough to spark hope. And then came the moment that truly shook the fandom. A fan at a small Canadian Q&A event stood up and asked him the question everyone's been too afraid to ask out loud: would you ever return as Ty? Even just once? Graham paused, smiled, and said, "You never know what the future holds. Sometimes healing means showing up, even for one more goodbye." That was it. But that's all fans needed. It wasn't a yes, but it wasn't a no. In a world as carefully guarded as Heartland, even a vague answer can mean everything. It's worth remembering. Graham Wardle has always been deeply protective of Ty's legacy. He wouldn't return for the sake of fan service. He wouldn't reappear just for a cameo. If he does come back even for a minute, it would be because it fits the story, honors the journey, and brings something beautiful to Amy's arc. And from the way he's been speaking, from the quotes he's choosing, from the way Amber Marshall seems to be quietly echoing his tone, fans are starting to believe, not in a miracle, but in a moment. Because sometimes, all it takes is one final scene to make everything whole again. And if Graham is preparing for that moment even in silence, then Ty Bordon's story may not be over after all. When Ty Borden died, fans didn't just lose a character, they lost a companion. For years, they had grown up with him, healed with him, believed in second chances because of him. So when Amber Marshall hinted, even softly, that Ty's story might not be finished, It wasn't just news. It was personal. The reaction wasn't loud at first. It was quiet like grief. A shared glance between fans. A hushed excitement in comment sections. But then it grew. And what followed wasn't just excitement, it was release. After holding on to loss for so long, fans finally felt permission to feel hope again. On social media, it's not just buzz, it's emotion. Posts don't just ask, is Ty coming back? They say things like, I'm crying just thinking about it. Or, he was the reason I believed in love again. For so many, Ty and Amy were more than a TV couple, they were the reflection of something real, something lost, or something longed for. One fan wrote, my husband passed away the year Ty did. Watching Amy go through that helped me get out of bed. If he returns, even in a dream, I'll be right there crying with her. Another simply posted a photo of their worn-out DVD set and the words, I'm ready to feel again. There's something powerful about that. This isn't just about entertainment. It's about connection. It's about how storytelling, when it's done with truth and heart, becomes a lifeline. Ty Borden represented growth, healing, redemption. Seeing even a glimpse of him again would mean revisiting all those parts of ourselves we thought were buried. Even people who stopped watching after his death are now returning, drawn back by the possibility that a final chapter could still be written. The numbers show it. Old episodes are climbing the trending charts again. Fan pages that had gone silent are back to life. And in every post, every video, every tribute, there's a shared heartbeat. We miss him, and we're not alone. Amber Marshall's words didn't just stir speculation. They opened a wound that fans had lovingly kept closed and reminded them that sometimes stories don't end just because a season does. Sometimes they linger, quietly, patiently, waiting for the right moment to say one last thing. And whether or not Ty Borden returns in season 19, what's already returned is something equally powerful. The sense that this community built over years, across borders, across generations, is still here, still feeling, still hoping, because Heartland has never been just about horses and ranches. It's about people. It's about hearts. And right now, thousands of hearts are beating as one. Season 19 of Heartland isn't just another chapter, it feels like a crossroads. The show has always been about healing. But this season, there's a different kind of energy moving quietly. Beneath the surface, Amber Marshall's gentle words, Graham Wardle's distant echoes, the fans' overwhelming emotion. It all feels like something is coming full circle. The past isn't knocking to stir up old pain, it's reaching back to remind us why this story mattered in the first place. Season 19 won't erase the grief we all felt when Ty Borden died. And maybe it shouldn't, because the ache left behind was real, honest, human. But what this season can do is bring peace where there was once silence. It can give closure not just to Amy, but to the millions who carried her heartbreak like it was their own. This doesn't mean a dramatic twist or a soap opera return. It means truth, a moment of light, a final note in a song that's echoed for nearly 2 decades. We may see Ty again or we may not, but that's almost beside the point now. What matters more is what's already happened. People are watching. Again. Hoping again. Feeling again. The idea of Ty's spirit, his impact, his love rising again through a memory, a letter, a dream. It's already begun to heal what was broken. Amber Marshall said, some love stories don't end. Maybe she meant Amy and Ty. Maybe she meant all of us. Season 19 may be the season where Amy finally lets go, not with pain, but with love. Where Lindy asks the question Amy's been too afraid to answer. Where a photo, a letter, or even just a voice reminds us that the ones we love never truly leave us. They live on in the choices we make, in the people we become, and in the stories we continue to tell. So what should you expect in season 19? Expect emotion. Expect reflection. Expect one final look over the prairie and the feeling that someone is still out there, just past the trees. And if that barn door opens, and the wind carries a whisper of a name we thought we'd never hear again, you'll know it was never about endings. It was always about coming home.